Hey, this is Max. Welcome back to another CSR2 video. So let's talk about making points in CSR2. And I'm no expert on making points. You're going to have to talk to the real top crew guys when it comes to capping and making huge points. But what I found out is under the current system, if you're really motivated and you want to spend some gold, you can make a really high amount of points in this game. As you can see, I am sitting here right now with 4.86 million points. I still have some time left in the season before I will have to have my points completely reset for the new season. So I suspect I could be able to hit about 5 million this season. Now, if you look at the next guy in line here, and he is doing about 3.6 million, and he is not playing as hard as I am, and he's a relatively new player, so it doesn't take having to be a really seasoned or veteran player to pull off some incredible points. Now, when you're talking about making points, there's some things you got to keep in mind. In this game, under the current system, one of the quickest ways to make points is simply having two accounts. What you can do is match up your cars, and they have to be relatively good cars that makes good RP together in the live lobby, and you basically use one car and just beat up the other car until you get the points you need. This system relies on a concept here that many people disagree with me on, and that is you do not get bumped for winning. That was removed from the game a while ago. Now, basically, the only reason you would get bumped is because you have been running too much under dyno. And I've been telling people this, but I have a lot of people saying to me, no, Max, you get bumped if you win too much. Well, that's interesting, because in order for me to make the points I did this season, what I've been doing is I've been running against my video test account to kind of test the theory whether I'm going to bump my car by winning too much too long. And the reality is the answer becomes pretty clear to me that the answer is no. And the reason for that is because it's no longer part of the game. If you look at the matchmaking system, if I was bumped up and my other account was bumped down, what will happen is I would be unable to find that account after a whole season of winning against it in the same lobby. There's always going to be a little bit of difficulty finding another account in any lobby anyway. But if you jump in and out of lobby a few times and the cars are not really that far off from each other, you should be able to find it. And if I was actually bumped because of the fact that my car's been winning, then I would never find the other car because it would be bumped down. But guess what? Here it is. The tune test McLaren F1 is tuned to the same dyno that my car has. And I've been beating this car up for the entire season. Some of you might have actually seen me in lobby with my two accounts kind of working on this, because what I was finding out is that no amount of beating I give the other account affects the lobby matchmaking. The car stays in a competitive lobby and they stay in the same lobby, which debunks the whole concept that somehow if I win too much, I am going to get bumped up. Because I probably won a total of 2,000 races, if not more, against that same exact car over the span of the season. Now, in addition, one thing I also found is that by running two accounts against each other, I can't run them at the optimal speed because I'm managing two accounts. So I end up running slower. And what that has done is actually moved me to a slower lobby. But both accounts, not just the one that won, but also the one that lost. So again, winning and losing does not seem to impact anything at this point. Now, knowing that, what are some of the difficulties of what I was trying to do? Well, if you want to make the kind of points that these top guys here on this leaderboard's doing, and these guys are perfect capping the numbers every day, and you see a whole list of them over here. I'm over here at miserable number 59, and I can't make the full points because I missed 2 days where I didn't quite get to the top score. And once you do that, your score will cap out at a much lower point. So in order to play like that, you really have to be dedicated. I guess would be the best word, to the idea of getting those numbers in each day within the window of reset, which in my case is like 7 p.m. If I don't make 300,000 from the 7 p.m. of the first day to the 7 p.m. of the next day, I will not be able to get my 300,000, and that'll be the end of that. So when I do make it, though, it's pretty good. You end up with a nice score of 300,000, and it adds to your crew points. Now, in addition, all those other crew points you're getting from your crew cups, your showdowns, your prestige cups, it all adds on top. So, you know, I didn't actually make 4.8 million total. A lot of those points actually came from the bonus points in the crew. The difficult part of doing all this, beyond timing and managing your time, is the fact that you're going to be spending a lot of gold. In fact, I've spent probably 3,000 gold, probably around there. But you do get an offset to that because you're leveling up a lot, and when you level up a lot, you will get back some of those points, and I mean not points, gold, so that it kind of plays out where you don't lose as much as you think you would. However, on the reverse end of that, you're definitely not getting it all back. And if you're someone who wants to make 5 million a season for season after season, you're going to have to buy gold. That's a given. The side effects of racing so much is you actually gain a lot of money. I've actually ended up over the season, this season, one season probably gained close to 20 million in cash because you're playing the sheer amount. And I didn't raise bets. I didn't do $200,000 bets or anything. All I did was play, and just from those $12,000 wins or $13,000 wins, I have now gotten, whoops, I screwed that up. I've now gotten a very decent amount of money from just playing. So if you play enough, your money will grow pretty fast. But if you're playing a million a season, a million points a season, of course, your money won't be growing the way this is. However, you also probably wouldn't be going broke as far as your gold is concerned. I'm actually just in here in Showdown because I want to be doing something while I'm talking rather than just kind of rambling on and have you guys stare at my car. Now, the reason I use the F1, now that's another point to consider. A lot of times when we're talking about milestone crew guys, we don't really focus on the idea that you need to worry about too much about the RP difference between the cars, because let's say you have a car that makes 1200 RP per race versus a car that makes 1350 a race versus a car that makes 1400 a race. When you're not doing that many points, that extra 100 or 50 or whatever really isn't that big a deal. It doesn't mean much. But when you're doing 200, 300 races a day, that extra 100 points start to make a difference. And not only does it make a difference in how quick you finish, it makes a difference in how much gold you spend, because every 10 races you save is 20 gold you're saving. So all that stuff becomes a lot more important in that scheme of things than when you're just doing your 1 million or 1.2 million a season. You don't care about those 200 points, 100 points. Now these points become pretty critical. So it's interesting how much math you end up doing when you're trying to do more points. But in the end, a lot of this comes back to what do you truly enjoy. I mean, if you like making big points because you can join a crew that is more active with wildcards and get higher ranking in every season in the overall season rankings, or even possibly get a purple star car, it's worth thinking about doing. And I don't think you need to be someone special to pull it off either. You just have to have a car or two that is really good. Now, understand, I am spending time-wise, I'm able to cap if I win every race within a single 150 card, or about 1 hour 40 minutes on a 70 card, or if I did it manually without any wild card, you're talking about 210 wins in that, 205 to 210 wins in that F1. So that is however long it takes you to run 210 races, and that is without swapping. If you're swapping, remember your every other race is a loss and you're losing some points there. In comparison, then you're probably talking about another, you know, 3/4 number of runs. So you're already talking about almost 400 runs to get the same score. In that case, the time can be pretty substantial. So you really have to think, are you someone who's going to want to spend that kind of time, or it's really not something you want to do? Because time, ultimately, how much you play the game really is what this all ends up being. It's about the time and the energy expenditure. So in the end, I wanted to document this season with a video because, well, honestly, I'm somewhat proud of it because I did a lot of points. My crew been watching me and kind of, observing what I'm doing and saying, hey, Max, you're really doing a big point season. You're doing great. Everybody was kind of rooting for me. So I do feel good about the fact that I did this. On the other hand, it pains me to see how much my gold drops. And I know that ultimately I wouldn't want to have to pay for more gold anytime soon. So I'm not going to be doing this over and over again. But it's fun sometimes to have multiple players within a crew. They're all pushing points. And then it gives you a little bit of a drive to do something like this. So just wanted to kind of tell you guys a little bit about my experiences doing this. And in the end, what I sense is that, one, you're going to burn a lot of gold. You're going to make a lot of money. But really, the reason why I wouldn't want to do this every season over and over again is because I feel like it becomes almost job-like, like an obligation. I play the game a lot and I like to switch cars, but when you're trying to push that many points as quick as you can, you're really kind of locked into what you have to do. There's a pattern you have to follow to make sense to get this done. And that is not something I truly enjoy. So while I understand why the top crew guys do it and I respect them for what they can do, it's just not something I truly enjoy and probably not something I'm going to do again. So all the more reason why I'm documenting this. So now, if you're a capper, I'm sure you'll have comments to tell me where I went wrong or what you think might be easier or harder. But my finding so far is that based on what I've done while working full time, still hanging out with family, and going out Saturday night and meeting up with family friend, I was able to generally cap almost every day without a huge amount of stress and huge amount of time spent. But that again is depending a lot on the fact that I am not losing any races and I'm actually minimizing the overall time I'm spending. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you have different experience. And ultimately I'm doing this because I want to show you guys who are relatively new that this is not a hard game to make points in. And 1 million points for a milestone crew should not be something that intimidates you. In fact, if I can do this many million doing maybe 2 hours and 2.5 hours of play a day, to do really 1 million a season strategically and smart, it probably only takes you about 45 minutes of playing a day to pull that off. So keep that in mind. But you do have to play this game almost every day in order to really progress in points and be part of a milestone crew. So if you're somebody who only plays it once a week, I'm sorry to say you're not going to be able to win any cars except for from the rare imports. As always, I would love comments and feedback or your thoughts on this. Let me know what you think of my little attempt at making some high points and whether you think that it would be better if I had done it some other way. What I can tell you up front is that I did not do the first day cap. I capped a bunch in between and I missed 2-3 days where I came in a little short because quite honestly I got home late from work and I just didn't have enough time to finish what I was starting. And without the wild cards, it is a bit of a grind, and those are the exact days where I missed out a little bit. Alright, well, thank you for joining me for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and some of the information I passed on, particularly the fact that you don't get bumped from just winning. In any case, if you liked the video, leave a like. If you like my channel, please subscribe and hit the little bell so you can get notifications. And as always, thank you for watching my videos. I'll catch you next time.